I've recently covered the Bricks 2.4 MCP, how to set it up, some of the options that are included in it. And this has brought up one simple question time and time again. Do we still need to use Novamira if we have Bricks MCP? So in this video, I want to talk about that. But before I even start it off, I want your feedback. Are you using Novamira right now and you're a Bricks user and you're thinking, do I really need to use this? Or are you just kind of on the fence with it? Or just basically any kind of thoughts you've got about this? Drop them in the comment section down below. If you agree or disagree on any of the points I bring up, that's absolutely fine. Pop your opinion in there as well. Just keep it polite. That's all I ask. Let's start off by taking a look at the key difference between the two different ways of working. And I'm talking about Novamira Pro here, the paid version, because the free version doesn't really have any training to do with Bricks or Elementor or any of those kinds of tools. So it's not really a fair comparison between the free Novamira and Bricks. So with that out of the way, let's, like I say, take a look at the key differences between the two. First of all, Bricks MCP is Bricks native. This is a AI MCP connection tool with skills that are trained on Bricks itself by the Bricks team. So you would expect that to be a little bit more detailed, have a better understanding of best practices and so on over what you may have by an external MCP like Novamira Pro. That's not saying they are different, that's just saying potentially they could and maybe grow into something that has strengths and weaknesses between the two. Because I would assume that with the MCP that's going to be shipped with Bricks 2.4 when it's released, isn't something that's once it's done. New features, tweaks, enhancements and so on should roll out in the same way that we tend to see with Bricks interim releases anyway. So I expect it to grow better over time as various different things come up. People ask for different ways of working, they want new features included and so on. So at its base level, Bricks MCP should theoretically be better. Now I'm saying theoretically because currently we are still in beta. So while I've tested Bricks MCP and I've tested Novamira, probably more extensively with Novamira, there's still potential for things to change. I released a video yesterday on it, and by the time I actually edited and released the video, version 2.3 or 2.4 of the beta had been released. So there's already changes rolling out. I don't think that's had any changes to the MCP. I didn't see anything in the changelog, but the potential is there. So once they are released, I will take a more deep dive look between the two. And if you've tried both out, let me know what your findings are. Now let's take a look at Novamira Pro. Now, Novamira Pro is, you could say, more of a Swiss Army knife. It has a toolbox. It's not just Bricks. It's been trained on Bricks and Elementor and other tools, trained on ACF, Metabox, trained on SEO tools, and so on. So this is where, if you ask me, the strength lies in Novamira Pro over just the Bricks MCP. So if you are a user of Bricks and you don't want AI to be involved in anything else, I would say just give Novamira Pro a miss. You don't need it. You're going to stick with the MCP that's built into 2.4 and above of Bricks, and that's probably going to serve you perfectly. However, if you want to go beyond that and whatever Bricks actually, so the MCP covers, and from my understanding, it is or does already cover things like advanced custom fields and so on, so you can use it in that regard. Again, I haven't tested it until the final release comes out, and I will test it beyond what you can do just inside Bricks. So you are going to get more functions, more tools, more options, more trainings and skills and so on inside Novamira Pro than you potentially will in Bricks MCP. Because it makes sense. It's the Bricks MCP. So tools outside that, like SEO and so on, don't need to be in there. You don't need to add those extra things in. Whereas with a tool like Novamira, which is more of a, like I say, Swiss Army knife, you potentially have more tools and more use cases. So this then asks the question, should you choose one over the other? Well, this is the benefit of using either of these tools. You can turn the skills that you do or don't want to use on and off. So let's say you have Novamira Pro and you're a Bricks user and thinking, well, I don't want to have two lots of skills sort of maybe competing with each other. Then just go into Novamira, for example, and turn off all the skills that are associated with Bricks. And then leave any other skills and things like that that are available inside Novamira Pro as they are, or disable what you do and don't want. The same thing goes. You may prefer to use the tools inside Novamira. You may think, well, I've got better sort of results with that in my testing. Well, just don't enable the MCP function inside Bricks itself. This is the beauty of having tools like Bricks with its MCP coming out and Novamira Pro already out there. You have choice. If you don't want to use it, don't use it. If you prefer to use one over the other, then disable the one that you don't want to use, or the features inside that one you don't want to use. Now for me, I've got good results with Novamira, and I've got good results when I've used it to create dynamic data setups and so on. So I'm interested to see what you can do with Brix MCP when it's released, and see how well it does support it, and see if it works in a better way maybe than we have in Novamira, or vice versa. But like I said at the beginning of this video, let me know your thoughts. Let me have your feedback and ideas, because I'd love to know if you've tested this out or you just generally prefer one over the other. Drop a comment down below. Like I said, just keep it polite and civil, and we can have a conversation about it. But like I say, once I actually release the 2.4, it kind of comes out in full version, I will be digging it a little deeper. And because we've had the latest beta release of Brix 2.4, I don't think we're far away from the final release. They are still adding in new fixes and new features and tweaks and things. So hopefully we won't be far away from that final release, and then I can dig into the MCP and Brix itself and get a better understanding of how broad the skill sets we have are there. And so also, one other thing to bear in mind is that a lot of this will still depend upon what AI tool you're using. Some tools have strengths over others. AI models are changing very, very rapidly. So you may find that one gives you better results over the other, depending upon what AI platform you choose, or LLM. So there's so many variables here that we have to test out. But let me know your thoughts. As always, all applicable links are in the description down below. My name is Paul C. This is WPTuts, and until next time, take care.